This isn't just a story about a janitor. It's a powerful reminder that brilliance isn't always dressed in a suit or sitting at the boardroom table. When a billion-dollar company faced collapse, it wasn't the executives or financial experts who found the solution. It was someone nobody ever expected. This is the story of how one overlooked woman saved everything. In seconds. The janitor nobody noticed became the hero no one could ignore. Sarah Martinez, 32, worked nights on the 42nd floor of Sterling Financial Group's towering headquarters in Manhattan. Dressed in her faded gray polo and blue cleaning apron, she pushed her cart quietly along the polished hallway. It's just like she had done for the past 3 years. To most, she was just a part of the background. Someone who showed up after hours to tidy up the mess left by people in suits. But what they didn't see was the framed degree in applied mathematics gathering dust in her small Brooklyn apartment. They didn't know that once Sarah had dreamed of solving complex financial problems, not just mopping up after them, but life had other plans. After her father's health collapsed and bills piled up, Sarah took the first steady job she could find. Nights turned into years, and dreams slowly faded beneath responsibility. She thought this would just be another quiet Tuesday night. She was wrong. The air felt charged as Sarah approached the boardroom. She could hear hurried voices, the sound of panic barely hidden beneath polished tones. Something was very wrong. Inside, Victoria Sterling, the powerful, sharp CEO, stood at the head of the table, surrounded by her most trusted executives. The tension was thick. Numbers covered the whiteboard behind her like battle scars. Projections, loss charts, liabilities, all pointing toward one undeniable conclusion. The company was on the verge of collapse. Sterling's billion-dollar merger with a tech company, Meridian, had gone disastrously wrong. Instead of boosting their portfolio, it had exposed them to a staggering liability, supposedly over $1.2 billion. "We have until market opens tomorrow," Victoria said, her voice hoarse from hours of stress. "If we don't fix this, Sterling Financial goes under." Sarah began emptying the trash quietly, her eyes drifting to the whiteboard. She tried not to draw attention to herself, but her mind, trained in numbers and logic, automatically began working through the work. Calculations. Something didn't add up. She looked again, then again, her breath caught. There it was, a decimal error, tiny, almost invisible. But it changed. Everything. The actual liability wasn't $1.2 billion. It was just under $400 million. Still painful, yes, but not fatal. The company could survive it. Her hands shook. Should she say something? Could she? She was just a janitor, but behind the mop and the uniform, she was still a mathematician. Taking a deep breath, Sarah reached for the whiteboard eraser. "Excuse me?" she said quietly, then louder. "I think there's a mistake in the calculations." The room froze. Victoria slowly turned to her. "What did you just say?" Sarah's voice wavered at first, but grew stronger. "The numbers on line 7, third column, the decimal point is off. Your exposure is 66.7% less than what you're showing." Disbelief swept the room. One executive laughed nervously. "We've had entire teams verify these numbers." Sarah nodded respectfully. "I know. But if you recalculate the derivative exposure using the corrected basis point conversion, it changes the outcome significantly." Victoria stared at her. "And how do you know this?" "I have a mathematics degree, summa cum laude, Brooklyn College. I've worked nights here for 3 years. I've been watching quietly." For a moment, silence. "Then show me," Victoria said, with trembling hands. Sarah picked up the marker and walked to the board. She redid the math line by line, explained the error, the missing decimal, the incorrect multiplier. When she finished, Robert Mitchell, the CFO, double-checked her work on a calculator. His eyes widened. She's right, he whispered. Our liability is $400 million, not $1.2 billion. The room erupted in disbelief and relief. Phones were pulled out, numbers verified again. The entire atmosphere flipped from dread to possibility. But Victoria remained still, her eyes locked on Sarah. "What's your name?" she asked. "Sarah Martinez." 3 years, Victoria said, almost to herself. 3 years you've worked here and nobody noticed. Sarah tried to explain. Her father's medical bills, her mother's rent, the need for benefits, stability. How she'd buried her potential just to survive. Victoria shook her head. "I built this company to recognize talent, Kay, and somehow I missed the most important mind in the building." She stepped forward. "Sarah, do you enjoy cleaning offices?" The question stunned her. "It pays the bills." "That's not what I asked." Sarah paused. "No, I don't." "Good," Victoria replied, "because we need to talk." A chair was pulled out for Sarah at the executive table, the same table where minutes ago she'd only been there to clean. Victoria leaned in. "Have you noticed other mistakes over the years?" Sarah hesitated, then nodded. "A few. A wrong coefficient here. It's a bad risk formula there. I didn't think it was my place to say anything." The executives looked at each other. Their mistakes were costing millions. Victoria stood, her voice filling the room. "I was once ignored too by someone who thought I was just a junior analyst. That mistake cost a client $40 million. I built this firm to be different, but I failed until now." She turned to Sarah. "Would you like to stop imagining your career and start living it?" Sarah could hardly breathe. "I'm offering you a position as senior financial analyst. $120,000 starting salary. Full benefits starting now." The markers slipped from Sarah's hand. I accept." And with those words, her life changed. 6 months later, Sarah Martinez sat in a sunlit office, her nameplate reading, Senior Analyst. The uniform was gone. Her confidence fully restored. Her mother had retired, the medical debt was gone. And Sterling Financial, thriving, because Sarah wasn't alone. A company-wide search had revealed hidden talent everywhere. It's the security guard with an MBA, the cafeteria worker who had led financial ops overseas. It's the maintenance man who could code circles around there. IT team. Sarah had sparked a movement because greatness, true, unpolished brilliance, sometimes comes wrapped in the most unexpected packages. Asterisk, we learned today that true genius doesn't always come from fancy titles or corner offices. Sometimes it's quietly sweeping floors, waiting for the right moment to shine. Sarah reminded us all that our circumstances don't define our value, our courage, our knowledge, and our willingness to speak up. What would you have done in Sarah's place? Would you have spoken up? Let us know in the comments. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful true stories like this one. Till next time, remember, never underestimate the quiet ones. They might just save everything.